Are you frustrated by a run game that stalls out at only 3 yards per carry? Our team cracked the code and soared to 8 yards per carry in over 30 points a game by adding a secret weapon like Kyle Juszczyk and George Kittle, the H-back. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to install and how to utilize the H-back for big gains without adding any linemen. What you're about to see is a presentation that I did from Coach Ian Tatum's coordinator clinic. Big thank you to Coach Ian Tatum for having me on. Now let's get started.
All right, so if you don't know Coach Haddad, you're living under a rock. Him and his brother do awesome stuff with Victory. Coach kind of leading the charge back with the offensive guys for another run right here. I'm going to back out. You got it.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach. Once again, thanks, Coach Tatum, again, for putting this all together. It's been a great day. We're going to be talking a little bit of H-back, how we utilize it, use motions, formations, different things like that. So quick little snippet here, a little 2-second intro. I'm the offensive coordinator. My name is Danny Haddad. I'm the offensive coordinator at Bellingham High School. I also work at Victory Sports with my brother, Chris Haddad, who's on the left in this picture here. And we're an education website for football coaches. So you can visit us at victorysports.com, visit our YouTube page, different things like that. Last season, just a couple stats from last season, 30 points per game, averaged about 8 yards per carry last season, and we're back-to-back league champs here. And I'm blessed to be able to coach with my father, who's in the middle here, who's the head coach, and then my brother, who is the defense coordinator on the left here. So, all right, let's get into some H-back stuff here. So first off, why you should utilize the H-back. So number one is equate numbers in the run game here. So whenever we see a lot of 6-man boxes where we're coming from, so we see a lot of 4-2-5, see a lot of 3-3 stack, different things like that. So we match up very well with our H-back in the backfield. So it evens out versus 6-man box. We're able to read a defender if we do end up getting a 7-man box. So we're able to do some sort of zone read and have just an action plan on top of that if we do get some sort of a 7-man box. We want to be able to secure all the gaps in reading a second and third level defender. I'm going to be going over a couple different RPOs as well. So we want to be able to read those outside backers, those safeties, different things like that, and not have to change anything up front. We want to be able to use motion to gain a quick numbers advantage. You'll see in the next couple slides here, I'm going to go over a couple different motions that we use just to be able to flip the formation, flip the strength of the formation, just to be able to use our speed as an advantage to get to the edge with whatever run scheme we're calling. We're going to use his lead blockers for quarterbacks in the run game and use his eye candy too, right? We get some misdirection in the backfield. Linebackers are going to slow their feet. If they have to slow down for even that half a second too, that may be that extra leverage that they need for the lineman in order to make a block. And then last one here is use to influence defenders that you want to read or trap. So you'll see with our arc tag that we're going to be going over, that's one of the ways we are able to utilize to influence defenders to make the wrong move. And then our blocking scheme within the run scheme with the linemen are able to read or trap that guy that we want to attack. These are going to be the two H-back alignments that we're primarily going to be going over. So our wing alignment on the left here, we have our H is going to be off the left foot of the tackle here. He's going to be about 1 yard diagonal off of him. And then our sniffer alignment here, the quarterback is going to be about 4.5 yards. The H is going to be 1 yard in front of him and directly behind the guard. So with all the formations that we're going to go over, we're going to see wing alignment or we're going to see sniffer alignment. And here we have all of our H-back formations. So the top up here, so Gator, right, Tray, Queen, and King. We do have specific formation tags off of these. And these are the main adjustments or alignments that we're going to have for this H alignment here. So we have our stack tag as well, which the Y and the Z will just stack behind each other. We have our tight tag, which is going to take these two split receivers, bring them in tight. And then we also have our heavy tag, which is going to take the Y, who is normally off the ball in all these formations. We're going to take him, put him on the line of scrimmage, and then take the opposing X or Z, whichever side the ball is on. We're going to take him off the ball, and then he can motion, go 4-by-0, get creative with however we want to go unbalanced. But all of these tags here are going to work for Gator, Tray, Queen, or King. And then these base alignments are all able to go with all three of these tags. All right, H-back motion. So all of these 9 motions are primarily for the H-back here. So with our trade motion, all we're trying to do is get the H from one side of the formation. He's going to be getting in that same exact spot on the other side. This is our trade out of our King and Queen set that we just talked about. And the 3 that I'm mainly going to focus on are number 3, 4, and 5. So we have Tyson, Ali, and then Push. So I'm going to show you guys clips. I'm not going to show you and bore you with just motion clips. I want to just primarily go those 3, just because I think those are the most creative ones that we do use, so we can utilize our numbers and utilize the leverage of the H-back. So Tyson here, we're going to be getting a full sprint. So think Mike Tyson punch out, right? Mike Tyson trying to knock you out. With this one here, we're trying to get a full head of steam and then run split zone, run whatever run concept we want to run. We're going to be getting the ball snapped at this backside guard here so we can continue to still get a full head of steam and be able to adjust off of where that defensive end is. The Ali motion, think a little bit more speed here. So now with this case here, we're trying to take advantage of the edge in this case. So we're trying to get a full sprint here. And now instead of snapping the ball on the backside like we did with Tyson, we're going to snap the ball on the inside leg of the tackle, and then we're going to work upfield. So we use this with our wide zone, especially if we have a heavier box, a 7-man box, 6-man box that we want to just attack the edge with. We'll use this Ali motion. And then push motion. This is one that we use to get out of our 11 personnel sets. So we're primarily a big 11 personnel team. And a lot of the teams would see this type of set and say, hey, like we're going to go either single high, go heavier blitz. And then from here, we have this motion adjustment where we can go. So say our king alignment here. So 1, 2, and then this H back in the backfield. Our push motion takes him from wherever his alignment is to the opposite slot to get set. So even if he's in our gator alignment on this side here, he's pushing to the opposite side into that slot alignment and getting set here. So now we go from a 2x1 wing set on the left side here to now to a 3x1 set. Just a different way to get creative and to get guys or get defenses in different personnel packages or different personnel sets that you can take advantage of. In motion is just a way to go from spread to that 11 personnel set. So we can get into our guard alignment here. So he's going to be right behind the guard in the sniffer alignment. And then out as well, he's going to be going in and then coming back out. Once again, just a way just to be able to run your power, run your 11 personnel runs. And then we have laser and Leo. This is going to be your jet and your orbit motion. So this here is an example. This is going to be our Tyson motion. So we're going to check out this right slot here. He's going to be coming full speed and he's going to be kicking out this right defensive end. If you guys have that one guy on your team that you can say, hey, go run as fast as you can and go kick out a defensive end, their eyes are going to light up and a big smile is going to come across their face. And that was number 87 for us the last 2 years ago. So we're going to get just a basic inside zone split. He's able to run full speed, able to get a nice easy kick out here. Just one way to utilize that motion. Next, this is going to be your Ali motion. So if you take a look at the H-back alignment here, he's going to be coming along here and we're going to snap the ball at the inside leg of the tackle. And we're facing a bear front here, 5-2 front. And this is a fast motion where you can utilize if the safeties don't rotate too well or if the team just doesn't adjust to motion well. This is one that you can utilize as well. I'll try and slow this one down here a little bit. But we're going with our wide zone scheme here. Versus a 5-2, it's tough to run, right? It's tough you're just outnumbered either way. So using this quick motion here is just a good way to get the leverage with the outside and to take advantage of the numbers on the edge here. And then this one here is our push motion. So we're going to be our king set in the backfield. And we actually put this one in this week here. So we wanted to be able to get out of this 11 personnel set. So now he is in the slot on this left side here. We noticed going into this that their safeties were pretty low at the snap of the ball here with our king and our queen set. So off of that, we said, okay, let's go push motion, get him out of here, and then run just our base shallow concept. So now we're able to get into our spread concept with their safety alignment being so low like that. Normally their alignment was about 10 yards. And then on that play, anytime we went to our 2-back stiffer alignment, they would go down to about 6 to 7 yards. Because we were at that time, we were 90% run out of this formation. So it was a good call on their part just because they were going with our tendencies. Make everything look the same. This is going to be a huge focus here. So the 4 types of tracks that the H-backs are going to take, it's going to have a split track, a wrap track, arc, or insert. Okay, those are the 4 that we're going to be going over, and all these plays will have one of these tracks going on with the H-back. These are run schemes. So we run 4 basic run schemes. You're going to see those are the tags that are going to work for each individual run scheme that we do run. With Power, of course, he's involved in the run scheme, so we're not going to add a tag to that just because he's involved in the run scheme there. But these are the specific tags that work for these run schemes. First one we're going to go over is split, and split is one of my favorites here. Our coaching points for the split zone is to aim for the crack of the tackle. So he's going to be lining up in his sniffer alignment here, and he's going to be aiming for this crack of the tackle. I'd rather you miss inside of the defensive end than miss outside, because if you go too far outside, he spills underneath here, he disrupts the play in that open C gap there. So we always want to make sure we're getting inside and we're trying to ride him upfield or kick him out, but we must win inside. And then a key to look at with game planning too is practice how the D end will be in post snap, right? So if he's only going to be taking one step and then just pretty much staying there or boxing it, then okay, practice that, take that one step and then go from there. If he's going to be a guy that takes those hard 3 steps upfield, your angle is going to change a little bit. It's not going to be directly at the tackle's crack anymore. It's going to be a little bit wider. So you have to be able to adjust and have to be able to practice that within your indie periods, group periods, whatever it is. Running backs point here, we're trying to sell to the crack of the center here. We're trying to deliver the will and the mic down to the lineman here. So sell down to the center and then break to the backside C gap here. That's usually where their aiming point is. And the use for split zone we're trying to do when the D ends are boxing the C gap, when we have aggressive downhill linebackers, or if the linebackers don't scrape over to the second level as well. And then we also, these are the run schemes that it's going to work with: inside zone, wide zone, or counter. So first example here, we're going to be getting our tight end wing alignment here. We're going to go out motion here. He just doesn't go across. We switched it so he just goes to that alignment, just so that he's able to split across a little bit easier here. So I'll play this in slow-mo just in case it's choppy for you guys. He does a good job aiming for the crack of the tackle here, getting inside of this defender. Running back delivers the linebackers downhill and then works and reads off that outside linebacker and off that slot that's blocking there. Ignore end zone view. Our end zone camera smashed and broken to pieces, so we had to film from the ground, unfortunately. Now this is versus a bear front, so we have no business running split zone here, but just the way that we do run split zone and the way the running back does a great job here of delivering the linebackers to the linemen here, and our H-back does a great job of getting underneath this block. You'll see him come across, split underneath here, and then you'll see the last second jump cut by that running back, and he's able to find open space. We're doing this versus a 7 and possibly an 8-man box here with that safety coming down. So if you do it right, if the running back takes his track right, this play is a very, very good play to add to your offense. Off of the split now, we always want to have something else, right? So now we have a split glance RPO. So we're still running our split zone on the inside here, still getting double teams, and now we're reading this first defender on the outside here. Or we're reading the D gap defender technically. The X is going to be taking his 5 steps. On his third outside step, he's going to be breaking the space. Okay, so now off of this, if they start to really pack the box in, now you can add this tag and have a RPO build off this as well. You can actually see it a little bit better through the end zone view here. So we're going to be keying number 3. Once he steps down into the box, we know the key there. That's the key, the X to the +1 defender. So we want to be able to throw off of that. Okay, one more time. He comes down, we pull and throw the glance. So no real aiming point. We usually try and go 5 steps and then break to space. We're trying to hit the ball within the hash around 10 to 15 yards. Off of that, we have our Arrow RPO, still the same track. So we're still trying to keep that same split track going here, still trying to sell to the defensive end. If the defensive end gets upfield, like very far upfield, don't worry about trying to go around him. Slip underneath him and then work to the flat. If he stays downhill and stays tight down to the tackle, then we're going to go around him, take that track, and then belly out to the flat. All right, so the quarterback's going to be reading this defensive end. If he steps down, we're pulling it and throwing it. All right, if he does widen out, we can give the ball here, or if you are just going to call this an automatic throw, then we just have to be able to get underneath the slip and then be able to get the throw off. Okay, so this here, we're going to be reading this defensive end here. This team did a great job of staying tight to the tackles and really forcing that quarterback to pull the ball. All right, and we're keeping our eyes on number 3 here. He does a good job of selling the track here. He stays tight. He stays outside of him. Unfortunately, we had an outside backer here. He has to just avoid him and be able to get into his space here. But just a great job collecting the ball and then finding space on the edge here. But we're still keeping the same track, right? We're still selling split, getting off of that, and then trying to find space outside of there. Wide zone split. So this is where we're adding this because we're such a heavy split zone team, right? When we run split zone, the way that the teams are stopping it, right? We're trying to get these linebackers to spill over the top. All right. So they do a great job of scraping over. But now if they are keeping their eyes on this H, which a lot of teams are doing, right? They're just going to be following this H going through to the split, because that's where the play ends up being, is where the H is leading to. So now if they're going to follow him, that's easy enough. We have that now. That's going to be an easier block for our center or for our tackle at the second level to be able to seal to the backside, to be able to own that play side. So we will call wide zone split anytime we are getting some issues with that second level blocking. So better end zone view here. So we see we're just tracking this H here, right? We're going to be getting split zone going this way here, and then everyone else are going to be running wide zone going to the left. Peep the number 52 and 55 here. We're going to see just a slight hesitation here, right? They're a little bit slow. Hesitation, that just gives that guard and this backside guard here enough just to be able to seal towards that play side. Right? It's all about just keeping the eyes of the backers busy just for that half a second, because that half a second will lead to owning that play side and leading to a successful block. All right, so this play here. So now we're lining up in our bunch alignment here, and number 5 here. This middle linebacker was a stud. We were trying to game plan around him, and one of the things that we needed to do just in order to help with our blocks on him was to just get his eyes wrong for just a second, right? So with this here, we were heavy, like I said, heavy split zone, heavy wide zone team. So now even just taking that track of the split coming across with 87, this linebacker steps up because of the split zone track, and then he takes that inside track as well. So the center is able to hold that gap. Unfortunately, we don't hit the run lane right there, and we end up bouncing this outside. But just getting the eyes on that H-back and having them key the H-back is one thing that you can do with adding this wide zone. And then off the wide zone split, we have our split screen. So now we're trying to sell wide zone going to the right. The backside 3 guys just have their normal screen block. So now we have this H lined up here. He's going to sneak behind the lineman, leave this defensive end alone so that the defensive end looks like naked boot, whatever you want to call on the backside. And then the QB boots around and then hits the H on the screen. So we're in our tray alignment here. We sell the wide zone going this way. Number 11, our H-back sneaks. Let me slow it down here. Number 11 sneaks on the backside. As the defensive end gets vertical, we're able to flick it right behind him and get a good game behind. But this is just another play off of that split action going through and still keeping the same track for the H-back. Next is our wrap play. So now wrap, the whole goal with wrap is to sell split, and you're trying to aim for the outside shoulder of the defensive end. All right, you can't get caught inside on this, but you're looking for any backer that's scraping over the top or any type of backer outside of the defensive end. That's who you're wrapping around for. All right, the quarterback has a read on this. So if we're just running straight inside zone wrap, then we're going to have the defensive end be the read key here for the quarterback. So if he crashes down like normal zone read, we're going to pull the ball, and now we have a lead blocker with this H going through. If he widens out, there's some teams that do teach like a dual read for this H where he can go and kick him out like split. I think that's just a little bit too aggressive. Like, you can do that if you want. I'd rather just continue to have him work on one tractor so he doesn't have to think. And if he ends up widening out here, we do have numbers anyway, and we can work that C-gap backside cutback anyway. So the use with this is when D-end is spilling that C-gap kick out. So if we run split, and now this D-end is starting to muddle up the C-gap here, then we're going to go work here, work around him, right? Keep him where he wants to go, and then work around him and work off of that. You want to use this with aggressive downhill linebackers that are pressing down and pressing down on the A gap, B gap, whichever they're responsible for, and the ones that don't scrape over to the second level well. So this play here, this is from our playoff game last year. See a lot of lines here. I'll explain this in a second here. So we have our queen left look here. So we're just going to get one-on-one here. We're reading this defensive end. He's going to stay tight to the tackle, and we're going to wrap around for this outside backer here. All right, so he's the read key for the quarterback. He is the wrap man, the guy that the H-back is wrapping around for. We have our inside zone going. You're going to keep an eye on number 3. You're going to see like kind of a weird block from him. We had this game plan, so almost like a triple option type read. So he's going to sell the stock here, and as soon as he was pushing downhill vertical towards the quarterback, once he kept it, because we knew that the end was going to crash, he can then break vertical here. So we have like a triple option read. So he was able to throw it before he got to the line of scrimmage here. So just taking a look, we're going to get this inside zone coming down. 87 wraps around and ends up sealing in number 21. So now right there, right, we have the edge. If this guy was deepening up with that number 1 receiver here, that's perfectly fine. He's 15 yards downfield. We'll take a 15-yard gain, right? If he end up shooting up here in his normal alignment here, then we can take the ball and have him go vertical, right? But we see quarterback does a great job getting the edge, using his speed towards the sideline here, and then in the 32, the corner just doesn't really know where to go in a sense, but we're gaining 15 yards just off quarterback run with that H-back leading around through. And this is a play we added this year, right? A big key with my offense, I'd love to keep just the offensive line as the offensive line. Like, don't change anything. Base your scheme around that, though. Okay, don't go too crazy changing every single rule for the linemen. Don't let them think so much. Like, keep the day one rules, the day one rules. So with this, we're just going to get in our king alignment, and we're going to have our wrap here. And now instead of handing the ball off with GH counter, right, if they're going to key the guard and tackle, they're going to get the will scraping over. Let's get the pitch to the Y coming around here. So let's just get this one here. So we're going to see 87 take his track, roll around to the outside. We're going to get the mesh point coming here, and then he's going to flip it to 1 coming around. Pitch the ball here. And then we have the edge, right? Especially if a team is going to be taking over and keeping their eyes on the guard and tackle. This is just a great way to mess with their keys, right? They're seeing split. They're seeing wrap. They're seeing guard tackle pull. They don't know where to go. So it's going to slow them down eventually, and then you're going to be able to take advantage of them being flat-footed or being on their heels. This is a play we tried to have fun with. So we had we scored the prior week on a return jet sweep. So we had the Y come in return motion and then sell jet sweep going this way. We always like to have a little bit of a reverse in each week. And the H here, we used the wrap tag with this play here. So wasn't as successful as I wanted it to be, but this is still a great play to add. But just see, you see 87 here. He's going through, wrapping around that defensive end, and then he's taking that outside man, right? The wrap rules are going to be the wrap rules for the H. Nothing is going to change in the sequence here. But this is just a way you can still utilize this with trick plays. You can utilize this with reverses, different things like that. You can really get creative with this tag. Arc. So this is the third one. This is going to be utilized mainly for trying to influence different defensive ends or different guys that you want to trap or read specifically. So you want to be able to arc outside of the defensive end for the D gap defender or the next man outside the defensive end. You want to use this to influence or widen or kick out a player. If the D end is crashing the C gap, you want to be able to just hold him and widen him out just for a second or two, just to be able to get that kick out or to read him with the quarterback. If the D end is following the H back release, so if this end has eyes on this H and is matching him step for step, if you widen him out, he's only going to widen the hole out even more. And then for anything for outside run, if you want to go jet sweep, or if you want to go jet sweep with the offensive line running opposite, you can have him widen out this way, and he'd be the lead blocker here, and he just can make sure that he gets around the edge and then seals the outside on the jack. So we're going to key 87 here again. We're going to see jet motion coming this way. It's a subtle movement by this defensive end, but it's enough to get this kick out on GT coming backside, right? So we can see it a little bit better from the end zone camera, but I'll just play this here first. We're going to get the arc, which is enough for that guard to be able to kick out and us for it to get GT up the middle here. End zone view is 10 miles away here, but we're going to see this end here. We're going to see him just take that match step, right? He matches that defense, the H-back going out to the side. That's enough where we can then get that GT going inside, right? It's not going to be a detrimental thing where he's going to follow him completely 3 or 4 steps. If he does, that's awesome. But it's just going to be that 1-2 step out to the side, and then we're able to kick out and get inside of him. All right, off of this, we have the arc screen. So now selling arc going this way, we have a running back screen going to the right. QB flashes eyes this way, and then the H is then going to sink underneath. The 5 offensive linemen here, they're just going to open up to the nearest defender, engage for 1 second, then get upfield from there. So 2 examples off of this here. Eyes flash to him. Everyone flows that way. He's just going to sell the initial arc. You see 87 does a good job just selling out on the initial arc, like he's arcing around, and the defensive end widens out with him. And then from there, just hit the tight end screen up the middle here. Same thing. You can see this from the end zone camera view here too, but I'll show the side version first. Does a good job getting eyes there. Linemen flow, linebackers flow, and then you find a spot up in the middle. If the middle is congested, then work out to the side. Find open space on the outside. Okay. And then quickly, you can just see his quick initial arc and then work back to the inside behind the nearest defenders. And then arc seam RPO. So we're going to still have this arc release here. And now instead, we're just going to be reading this inside, but still the same arc release here and then work inside this nearest safety. We're going to be seeing this versus an odd front here. So we're going to be reading 33. He's going to get his initial arc release and then work inside of this defender. We're facing a 3-4 that week. So if he had outside leverage, I would like for him to get inside of 87, which he does. But if it was matched up, I would like him to widen out just a little bit to try and have him match his leverage and then break back to the inside. But he does a good job here of working wide, getting back to the middle of the field, and then being able to convert for the first down. And then insert, this is going to be the last one here. So insert, we're trying to insert into the open A gap or B gap, right? So if we are in king, depending on if they're under front, if they're in over front, whichever they are, we're telling the H-back to, hey, you're looking for the nearest inside gap, and he can adjust his alignment in the backfield based off that. So we can sneak a little bit more in for the A gap or out a little bit wider for the B gap. We're going to use this if a D end is crashing or spilling any C gap kick out players. So if they're just going to go and continue to kick out any pullers, let's just hinge them out with a tackle and then work inside for the next inside backer. If linebackers aren't aggressive downhill or they're not able to scrape over or they're able to scrape over for split zone, this is where we can attack now. If they're going to be waiting side to side, playing side to side off split zone, let's attack downhill and let's work vertical. And usually we utilize this with inside zone. First one here, we tell the running back, attack to the crack of the center like you normally do with inside zone. All right, you're reading off of the H's block here. So if the H can go and seal out, you're reading off that block. If it's too congested in the middle, just jump cut to space and then work vertical, right? So 22, our running back, Gabe Egan, does a great job here. Just great vision, finding space here, working vertical off that cut. And then same here. So we're going out motion out of our 3x1 set. We wanted to do this to try and keep the outside backer out of the box. So we went with our 3x1 set to the side over here, which kept 19 out of the box for a little bit longer. And we're able to go lock the edge. 87 inserts here. He ends up kicking out this time. Running back reads off of that and then works all the way down to the safety. I can show the end zone clip here. So 87 does a great job, finds his leverage. He realizes right now, that's my leverage I have. Turn the hips, own that leverage. And then running back gives him a clear lane for him to read off of there. And then insert pop. This is going to be one that's, this is an old Misc clip that I found from studying some college film. And this is a great one, right? This is off that too high look. So he has a too high answer up the middle here. And then he has this one high answer with the slot fade on the outside. But sell to the middle, sell the insert, and then from there, break to the middle of the field. This is a great wrinkle to have. I didn't run this year, but this is always just a great wrinkle to have within this. And then I know I'm running short on time here, but I got a couple other plays here. So not so much the wrap split and all that here, but this is going to be more just how to utilize his size, right? With quarterback sneaks, I don't like to use my quarterback, especially since my quarterback doesn't move often, right? I'm always in gun. So I'll take my H that I'm shifting back and forth all the time, and I'll have him who's 6'1", like 215, right? So you have good size with your tight ends and your H-backs. Let him QB sneak, right? Get all your meat up the middle and let him go score a touchdown, right? So now with this, we'll do our trade motion here. We'll fake the trade, get him at least crossing the center, and then he goes back underneath, and then we're able to QB sneak underneath. Same thing here.
I have not heard from Coach Williams, so you're good for some time.
Cool. All right. So same thing here. We're going to get him going across here, underneath. Just a good way just to get size on size. Don't let your quarterback try and go under center if he's not used to taking snaps under center. We have our tight end, the H-back here, take snaps every single week under center, as well as our quarterback too. But it's just a pure size effect that we need to work with. So that's one way to do it, as well as this is the last one here. So with the H-back, we realized this. I was talking to our H, Wyatt Calorie. We're doing our jet sweep period. He's like, Coach, like I've never gotten a jet sweep. And I'm like they probably they see him going in motion all the time. He's never once gotten the ball off it. So don't be afraid to give the big guys the ball here too, because they're not going to expect it. He's used to trading. He's used to coming in motion, out motion, different things like that. So now with this, utilize him to get the jet sweep. They're never going to think that he's going to be getting a jet sweep as a tight end. So, and of course he doesn't follow the running back to the end zone. He loves contact. So loves to make a tough touchdown. So, but different things to utilize, right? Don't just make him block, right? Try and give him the rock as much as you can too, and just keep defenses on their toes, especially with all the motion that you do. Try and just make sure that you're trying to keep the defense, make everything look the same as well. Yeah, that's all I got here. So hopefully you guys got something from that. This is all my contact info. Email me at coachheadeyejr@gmail.com, and then all my other social medias are at Coach Haddad Jr. So feel free, if you guys want this presentation here, feel free to shoot me a DM and I can send it over to you guys. But thanks again, Coach Tatum. Appreciate you having me on here and appreciate the 12 hours of football, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you a lot. Please go and subscribe to Victory Sports, man, on YouTube, and they're on every social you can find. And visit their website. Him and his brother Chris, man, they do great stuff. And I love that it's a family affair, man, at y'all school. That's such a great dynamic. And I think it's pretty rare. So I love that y'all are doing that, and keep it going, man.
If you enjoyed that last video, subscribe to my YouTube channel for more offensive football content. I'll see you next time.